Hey guys, Grecker221 here, and welcome to part 53 of Let's Play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. In the last part, we found the awesome star map of Tatooine. In this part, we're going to do something that I have never done before in this game. And we're going to start by talking to the chieftain here, and I'm pretty much going to skip all of this conversation. It's just about, I want to hear the history of his people, and he says he's not going to tell me, and there's a storyteller that will tell me, and he won't tell me because telling it to people who might mistell or whatever, tell the story incorrectly of the history of the people is blasphemous, and yeah, so we have to prove our worth by giving him the dragon pearl that we got from the dragon's lair. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the storyteller will tell us about the history of the Sand People, but we did lose a dragon pearl in the process. And he's just saying now that the history is not written down, it's passed down orally. Okay, so we're going to begin the history.
Translation. It begins with the ancient times. They were not sand people, for there was no sand. The land was green with life, and they walked without wrappings. Translation. Though the land was beautiful, they lived apart from the land. They built their walls high and saw beyond the horizon. They dared to reach the stars. Translation. There are no words for how long ago this was. It was before the outsiders, before the abduction, before the cities fell, before the builders.
Continue with the history.
Translation. Translation. His arrogant people touched the stars, and this sin drew the attention of the builders. The builders did not touch the stars, they lashed them to millstones. Translation. Great demons of metal stripped the world of its riches, until all that was left was the green of the ground. The great cities were lifted away. Translation. Those that had used the wealth were taken along with it. Transgressors abducted to serve past the sky, seeding the stars with penitent, adaptable slaves.
Continue with the history.
Translation. Translation. There came a time when the builders were also judged for their crimes. After generations, a plague weakened them, and the time of the Great War began. Translation. The builders faltered, and his people realized why they had been punished, so that they understood the crime, and would now strike down the greater offender. Translation. They worked chaos in the machines, so they destroyed themselves. The builders fought back, laying waste to the green that had been misused with fire from above. Translation. Soil became glass, grinding to sand, but the fight was long planned, and his people were safe. Deep in cave homes carved from valley wall, they were free.
Continue with the history.
Translation. Editing, if I may, Master. This section of his tale details several millennia of the long walk, their nomadic wanderings as they accept their identity in a desert world. Rather than strain my circuits on his dialect, might we just assume there was much fighting over who has the biggest bantha and move on to more recent things?
You can say either the first or the second choice. I think you'll get the same result. So we'll go with the second one.
Resignation. Very well, Master.
It is kind of funny. It takes several hours to tell this.
Translation. The tribes spread far, distant from each other, but all the sand people and all cherished the land that remained. The sand would not be misused. Translation. Then machines fell from the stars again. Outsiders like you that brazenly walked apart from the land. And greater still was the insult to come. Translation. These outsiders reminded them of their past transgressions, of the time when they too walked apart from land. The outsiders, your kind, looked like their ancient abducted. Translation. So it is to the current sons that the sand people hate all outsiders and give them no footing. You come again, time after time, adaptable slaves to the machine.
Is there anything further?
Edited. The last
I'll return later.
Translation.
And we are free to leave. So there's the history of the Sand People. Kind of interesting that they weren't always, well, Sand People. But we had to give a Dragon Pearl to hear that, and now I kind of want it back.
What do you wish to ask of him, Master?
I want information on Sand People culture.
Protocol. This will be a very sensitive topic.
Okay, we know that. Why are they so hostile to outsiders, even though the storyteller pretty much already told us?
Translation. He says that the fact that you have to ask, this is just one more example of your ignorance as an outsider, Master. He says you are blind. Translation. His people believe they are part of the land, living with it. You and your kind dare to raise yourself above it. You remove yourself. Translation. That act of removal makes you an outsider, separate from all that is important. You can never understand how unwelcome you are.
What do you mean, raise myself above the land?
Translation. Translation. He says that outsiders use machines to convey them and to make their lives easier. This severs a connection with the land. Translation. Connection to the soil must be made through flesh. A sacred animal is the only external tool to be used.
How does he have contact with the land while completely covered?
Translation. Translation. He says that the robes are sacred, Master, and you would not understand. Sand people are never uncovered outside of the most private moments.
Never? Not even in death?
Translation. Translation. Never. That is their way, Master.
Tell him I apologize for previously unwrapping his warriors.
Practical. Is that wise, Master? They may have assumed that the disguises you used were replicas instead of being taken off their dead.
Just tell him. I want to see what happens.
Translation. Translation. The result is predictable. You have desecrated their dead. Happily, it seems the piece is over. It is time to kill.
So yeah. We now get to fight the entire Sand People Enclave, which we don't get any dark side points for. How awesome is that? So we get, hold on, let me get everything set up here. And flurry away at the chieftain, and you're gonna do that crap, whatever that does. Okay, so by doing the light side peaceful solution for the Sand People, you get to not only get light side points, of course, you can come back after you get the Dragon Pearl, use the Dragon Pearl to hear the history of the Sand People Warrior, which gives you experience, and then after that you can kind of anger the chieftain, I guess, and get your Pearl back and fight all of the Sand People Enclave. Now what this does is, one, it gives you a lot more experience, because you get to beat all of the Sand People, but two, you can get gaffy sticks from all the Sand People, which you can then sell to the Zerk office for quite a bit of money. And yeah, the storyteller also has a unique gaffy stick as well. But so yeah, a lot of benefits to doing this, especially experience and money. But I didn't know about this first couple times I played this game, and I've actually never done this before. I've never heard the history of the Sand People. And there are also a lot of baskets and stuff that you can loot around the Sand People Enclave, so that's also a bonus. And I'm starting to run low on time, so what I'm going to do is try to do as much of the Enclave as I can until I have to cut it. But let's get the chieftain's remains. See, we get our pearl back. We got our pearl back. That's what you get for taking a pearl just to tell us something. And there's the storyteller's... wait, that's a weapon, isn't it? Is it? I guess we'll find out. I'll try to make sure and mention that in the next part, because I don't want to spend time looking right now. So I'm going to gather all of the remains off screen, because they're pretty much all just gaffy sticks. And just beat as much of the Sand People I can. They're pretty much just as easy as the other Sand People. Probably easier. Especially once you kill the chieftain, then it's all just downhill from there. They're all pretty weak. See, I'm killing them in one shot. This isn't any problem. But I don't think I'll be able to beat everyone in the Sand People Enclave before I have to cut the video. So yeah, got a little bit done in this part. We did something that I've never done before, which I'm kind of happy with. And in the next part, we're going to finish Tatooine. We have a couple of things left we can do, but it won't take very long. So in the next part, we're going to do those couple of things. We're going to sell some stuff. And yeah, this is Gracker221. If you like this part or any other part that I have posted, then please, by all means, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take care.